Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing fantastically well. It is Connor here, and we are back on match day. We are back on a windy, wet day in Yorkshire. It is grim. I am jealous of all of you who are living in sunny climates. Unfortunately, us Yorkshire folk don't get the best climate, and especially when you live on the other side of the Pennines, the dark side of the Pennines, where it's even worse than this normally. But merry post-Christmas. Guys, before we get into this video, make sure you're liking, commenting and subscribing. Not only that, everybody, we have a Patreon account. If you are new to this channel, make sure you go over and get some bonus content. We've got Generation Leeds, which is where I sit down with my old man and waffle. We waffle for half an hour to 40 minutes. It's a really good podcast. Gets loads of good reviews from everybody on Patreon. Make sure you check that out as well. The debrief is going to be back this week. We have the debrief extra, which is bonus content, which you can get on the Patreon account. Make sure you hit the link in the description below. Right, everybody, let's get into it. Let's get into it, shall we? Maximilian Wober, however you want to pronounce it. We all know in Leeds we have different pronunciations of absolutely every player's name. However, let's get into the nooks and crannies, the specifics, the finer details of this transfer. Fabrizio Romano has reported that the Austrian left-back, centre-back hybrid, which we'll get onto in a little bit, could be making his move to Leeds United for an upping fee of 11 million quid. Connor, are you confused? Yes, I am confused. Are there some of you looking at the camera with a raised eyebrow? A raised eyebrow because you're thinking, hold on, Connor, a centre-back / left-back hybrid, we already have 3 of those. Yes, we do. We do already have 3 of those. However, Leeds are looking to reinvigorate that position again, when you would maybe say that the necessity is a striker. However, James Marshman, the journalist, has said yesterday that apparently Leeds United are going to be improving in certain positions, but not a striker. Who knows if that's truth? It might not be truth. It might not be. It might be a fabrication. However, wouldn't that just be so Leeds United? I'm not here, everybody, to be a downer, to be a cynic, to be pessimistic. I am here to pick apart the new signing potentially that could be coming to Leeds United. And the reason I'm doing that is because I think there's multiple times where me, myself, and you guys have thought to yourself, because of the expectations that this board have put on us, that we should almost be excited that there's any signing that should be coming to Leeds United. I've had problems with Junior Firpo and Dan James where I've got way too excited without really looking into the finer details of that player before us making the signing, and I've tried to avoid making those mistakes again and since those signings, and that's what I'm exactly going to do with Wober. My expectations aren't going to be hampered down here just because Leeds are actually maybe going to sign a player and we've spent a combined 1 million quid in the past 3 January transfer windows when we've needed bodies. No, I'm going to try keep my expectations at least mediocre so we can get through the finer tunings of this young Austrian defender. Now, a good player, no doubt. Applied his trade at Ajax, moved to Sevilla, didn't quite work, then has moved into the RB system at Salzburg, something we're all getting very used to as Leeds United fans. Tyler Adams, Brendan Aronson, Rasmus Christensen, of course, and now Maximilian Wober. The long-term planning of Leeds United, extremely interesting here, because there is going to be a time where Leeds do move on from Jesse Marsch. I apologise to American fans who maybe think he's going to be in the Leeds United setup for the next 10 to 15 years. I even apologise to Leeds United fans who seem to think he's going to be here for the next even 3 to 4 years. I think the realism is, the dose of reality is, this guy isn't going to be here for in my opinion, the next 2 years. I really think and he'll do extremely well to get to that point. So then what do you have to do as a club? You have to future plan. The director of football and the head coach a little bit have to almost come to an agreement when it comes to certain individuals. But the director of football really has to have the power. And I wonder right now, because of maybe financial implications, whether or not Victor Orta has given the reins a little bit more to Jesse Marsch, because he can go back to previous clubs. He can go back to players he knows who are going to be lesser in value. We'll get onto Andrea Radrizzani's comments in just a little bit. But when it comes to long-term planning, is this really the route Leeds United should be going down? Jesse Marsch is inevitably at some point going to be sacked. A manager next is going to come in and be a possession-based manager who likes fullbacks overlapping, who likes keeping the ball and keeping it ticking over, isn't as direct, compact, narrow as Jesse Marsch and his system. That is the modern day. That is the modern way of playing football. You rarely see the Red Bull network really in any of the European 5 top leagues. You even look at the Southampton casualty in Ralph Hasenhüttl. That was the last in the Premier League. Every other Premier League manager really, now Lopetegui's coming at Wolves, tries to play a possession-based football, which is really key to note, because the next man who's coming in at Leeds United probably will want to play that style of football. You are not recruiting for that style of football. You are recruiting solely for a Jesse Marsch, solely for a Red Bull network. Keep that in mind. Now, Junior Firpo, what is going to happen to him? Having a left-back / centre-back, you would expect Wober is going to be going to left-back. However, maybe he's coming in to be part of a back three, which is going to raise some more questions about Robin Koch playing as a wide centre-back because his build-up is very poor on that right-hand side. Is maybe Robin Koch going to be moved on in the future with another centre-back coming in? Who knows? Then you're going to be overloaded with left-sided centre-backs, but it doesn't seem that the planning is all there with Leeds United. But what happens with Junior Firpo if Wober is to come in? I still think there is an ideology at Leeds United that they want to see Junior Firpo. They want to see our natural left back who we bought for 13 million from one of the best clubs in the world bombing up and down that left back side and really giving him the chance in the Premier League to prove his worth, because Leeds do like doing that instead of cutting the losses. We've noted that with several players in this Leeds United setup. So then what happens to Wober? Does he come in and sit on the bench? Because there seems to be a lot of people saying he's going to slot in at left back. So then what happens to Pascal Struijk? Because Pascal Struijk's not going to go centre-back when Liam Cooper, the captain, the man who Jesse Marsch said is the best captain he's ever worked with, is at centre-back. So then what happens? Does Pascal get dropped? Does Wober even come in? Which one of those players is going to be dropped? It's either going to be Liam Cooper, Pascal Struijk, or Wober. Once again, I apologise if I'm butchering his name there. I really do. Get it in the comment section below how you pronounce it. However, this is the real life scenario we're all looking toward now. Now, as a player, what is he? He's very conservative. He's not dynamic. We've looked at Kai Wagner before. Kai Wagner, for me, you know, he's not played in the top 5 European leagues. He's one of the better players in the MLS, of course he is, when it comes to left-back positioning. However, it's not really an exciting signing, but he is a left-back. He's a player who's going to get forward and deliver crosses. Is that what Wober is as a hybrid centre-back, left-back? Of course it's not. Because as a hybrid left-back, centre-back, when do you ever get a centre-back who has been made into a left-back or a right-back really getting forward and delivering crosses? It doesn't happen. You look at the stature, the physique of Wober. He's not that sort of player. Raises a lot of questions because Coops isn't going to be dropped for me. So the guy who you've given a 4-year contract, who's the best defender in the squad, in Pascal Struijk, is going to be dropped. I don't know. It's not what me and you want, but these are Jesse's words about Liam Cooper. These are what we've heard about Liam Cooper. Try take your almost bias out of it in terms of what you want. Listen to what the words have been from our head coach. 24 years of age is Wober. Is he going to come in and replace Liam Cooper? What, you'll say no, Connor, he's coming in to be a centre-back, to be a left-back, sorry. Well, that means Pascal's out. Because there's no way Cooper's getting dropped. No way. But what he can do, what Leeds can do, I've spent so many hours on here talking about Leeds getting a centre-back. But what we can do is actually move Pascal to centre-back and go out and get a dynamic left-back. And then you've improved in 2 positions. You've improved in centre-back because Liam Cooper's out and Pascal's a better defender. And you've improved in Junior Firpo because you've gone out and got a left-back. Why do we not do that? Why do we not just keep it simple? A lot of people will be talking about Wober getting Champions League minutes. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm really not. A lot of people will be saying he's played left-back for his country, Connor. Well, it's been a mix. It's been a mix of centre-back and left-back for his country. But I would also argue that if you took Pascal Struijk, Leo Yelder to Red Bull Salzburg, they do a very good job as well. So I think looking at him in isolation in the Austrian league is very dangerous. I think we've learnt that with Rasmus Christensen, haven't we? It's not an easy transition. So do we move to a back three? We've seen that in pre-season. We've seen that, these pre-season games we've had. We've seen that in build-up with Leeds United. And as I mentioned before, then you can move Wober to a back three. But then you've got a problem with Robin Koch. Because Robin Koch is not good at build-up as a wide centre-back. Much better centrally. This is what I'm talking about, everybody. The cogs aren't clicking. They're not ticking for me. They're not moving on. I don't get where this planning is going. It doesn't look like we're moving to a back three. Especially with these games that we've had recently. If anything, it looks like we're moving to a midfield three. Now, I am also a huge fan of Leo Yelder. I think he's a fantastic player, great ball carrier, extremely physical for his height. I honestly think that Potentially there is a future captain in Leo Yelder. Very vocal on the pitch, and I love that for his age. Now he's going to be blocked even more. Now he's probably going to be looking to get a move, you know, potentially a permanent or a loan. Because you're getting another left-sided centre-back coming in. And of course the defence needs improving. Of course it does. So put Pascal at centre-back and bring in a natural left-back. Can we get a rhyme there, everybody? Can we get a song? Can we get a song? Someone in the comment section below. I just don't understand why that simple concept is being made really complicated. Football is a simple game on the pitch. It can be a simple game off the pitch as well, if you just have the right people in charge. I don't know what's going on at the minute. I really don't. Listen, I completely understand that people are probably going to get a bit vexed by this because it looks like I'm being cynical. It looks like I'm being negative, the buzzword. I am not being negative. I am not being cynical. I am not being pessimistic. I'm looking at the player, his profile, which we speak about all the time, don't we? The profile of player to fit this Leeds United side. The long-term planning of this Leeds United side. The director of football. The manager. Is he still going to be here? What system are we going to be playing? And naturally, this young Austrian player, who is a hybrid of a left-back and a centre-back, is going to be coming in very, very, very conservative. And he's going to be sold as a left-back. And he's not really going to be moving forward for me. Not really going to be moving forward in his position from what we understand with Wober. Listen, maybe I'm seeing it a different way, but I'm trying not to do that. I literally just want a left back. A natural left back. That's it. That's it. And a striker. Because that's where my expectation is with this Leeds United side now. Now, what we need to now do is talk about Andrea Radrizzani and his comments yesterday, where I'm paraphrasing, so I can't be bothered reading through it. But he's essentially said that there needs to be a time where he moves on and there needs to be a natural successor. Presumably he's talking about the San Francisco 49ers. And I might not be that person. Sell up now then. Why have you not sold up now? Because this is the most important January, arguably, in the club's history. Why are we not making those preparations already? Why have we not got outside investment sorted for January? Why are we penny pinching in January? Why is it likely that we're only going to get 1 or 2 players in January? I heard so many people in my previous video say, Connor, you're not including net spend of the summer months. Why would I talk about the summer months net spend? It's irrelevant to this conversation. If you don't pre-plan properly in the summer, why is that relevant? Why is the net spend in summer relevant at all? It's not. The January net spend is relevant because Leeds have to bolster their squad from what they didn't do in the summer. So the January net spend is always the more relevant because Leeds haven't done the business properly in the summer and we don't invest in January because we don't believe in it. Even though in January, 3 times out of 3, we've been struggling in some aspects. We've been struggling in some areas of the squad. So the January net spend is more relevant right now because this is where it's more tough. It's difficult to get informed players and it's difficult to get informed players who are wanting to move from their current sides because everything's hunky-dory right there. This is difficult, so that's why you do your preparation in the summer. You over-prepare, you over-plan for certain aspects to go wrong, but Leeds don't do that. We always miss out on 1 or 2 positions, which means we have to be active in the January window. Hence why net spend in January is more relevant, from my perspective. So Rad's essentially saying, if you read between the lines, he's taken the club as far as he can go. And I'm just a little bit like, I'm just almost gobsmacked as to why we're not looking for investment in this January window. Because, you know, that's why you're not hearing a lot from the 49ers, in my opinion, because they're still very, very aware that they could get a good value for Leeds if we go down. They're very, very aware that they may pull out if Leeds go down, because it's obviously not good from a commercial perspective with their name attached to Leeds United if they're in the second tier of English football. And it almost is just at a standstill at the minute. And I think that's why fans are getting really frustrated because this should have been the window that we kicked on. Hopefully it still will be. We've got Manchester City tonight, everybody. Let me know exactly what you think in the comment section below. Do you agree? Do you disagree with what I've said? Keep it PG. Let's not get abusive. Football's all about opinions. It's subjective. Guys, I'll see you on the other side. See you in a bit.